You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 4 o'clock hour, Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. I'm Alex Donno, taking you for another 2 hours here on OnSideRadio.com. In about 15 minutes, we're going to talk with professional boxer Brandon Figueroa ahead of his clash on Showtime on May 15th. In about 29 minutes, we're going to talk with Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, talk a little Miami Heat basketball with Ira. I'm going to let Ira try and convince me that Jimmy Butler isn't missing too many games. Ira wrote a pretty compelling answer on Ask Ira this morning because somebody like me accused Jimmy Butler of, why is this guy chirping so much about, calling out teammates when he's missed 18 games this year. He's missed 18 games this year, Jimmy Butler. Missed a game the other night. What was it, illness? Like, bro, if you don't have COVID-19, you play. If you don't have the pandemic, you play. Michael Jordan played with the flu, had one of the best games of his life. I started for my traveling soccer team in 1997 with a 102-degree fever. I had an incredible game. I mean, you can play through illness. I know that may be news to Victor Oladipo, maybe news to Jimmy Butler. If you don't have COVID-19, you play. I can understand if you have COVID, we don't want to spread the pandemic. We want to, slow the spread. You guys should all be vaccinated anyway at this point. But if you don't have COVID, I believe you suit up and play. But, Ira made a good case, I thought, on Ask Ira about Jimmy. Yeah, he's missed 18 games this year, but 10 of those were not his choice. 10 of those games he missed due to the health and safety protocols. So that had nothing to do with Jimmy being, soft or few. And I don't believe Jimmy is soft. I just want to put that out there. But, 10 of the 18 games he missed were mandatory due to the health and safety protocols. So we cannot blame Jimmy Butler for that. But I can blame Victor Oladipo for sitting out for an imaginary injury, and I'll never get off that hill. Let's tackle our roundtable today. Every day, all of our hosts here on Onside Radio, we sit across the round table. After watching this soap opera develop in Green Bay, do you expect Aaron Rodgers to return to Green Bay, or will he successfully force his way out of Packerland? Man, we talked earlier about how for the Packers CEO, he may actually prefer Aaron to retire rather than be traded. But let me address the first part of that question first. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play another snap for the Green Bay Packers. I think the Rodgers-Packers era is over. I think there are two options here. He either gets traded or he never plays again, and he follows through on his threat of retirement. I think those are the two options. So if I address the first part of that question, do I think Aaron Rodgers is going to return to Green Bay? No. You can't bury the hatchet with that guy. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has relatives he doesn't speak to. Doesn't speak to his brother. Doesn't speak to his own mother. I'm assuming he doesn't speak to his father either. I mean, Rodgers is not the type to sit down in front of a beer, talk things out, hash out your issues, come to an understanding. Once you burn the Aaron Rodgers bridge, there's no repairing it, okay? And the Green Bay Packers have burned that bridge. You think if his own mother can't patch it up with him, that the Green Bay Packers can? You're insane. It's over. It's over. If Aaron Rodgers was 25 or 26 years old, I would say, hey, if it really does come down to them taking a hardline stance and refusing to trade him, he's going to have to play again. He's got his whole career in front of him. Aaron Rodgers could retire tonight, and he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Like, he's got plenty of money in the bank, so he doesn't need to keep doing this. He wants to keep doing this, but he doesn't want to keep doing it in a Packer uniform. So I don't expect him to return to Green Bay. That's part one of that question. Part two is tougher. Okay, part two is a lot tougher because for the Packers CEO, Mr. Murphy, he's the closest thing they have to an owner. The team is owned by the city of Green Bay. He's the chief executive officer. He can be fired, okay? So unlike, a sports owner who doesn't have to be held accountable for their decisions because the buck stops with them, he's got to answer to a board, right? And so this is why I think the Packers are being so resistant to trading him, okay? Because they could have done this deal already. They could have done this deal already. They can do the deal right now and probably get 2 future first-round picks for it, which, for as great as Aaron Rodgers is, if your 2 options are either he retires or he leaves, personally, as a fan of the Green Bay Packers, I would rather get a couple of first-round picks in return than have him retire and get nothing. You do get his money off the books, but that's all you get. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to pass that up. If it's by the hour, by the minute, getting clearer and clearer to the decision makers in Cheeseland that Rodgers is never going to step on the field for us again. And at least if it's a team like Denver, I know it's not ideal to send him anywhere. At least you avoid the NFC, you avoid the NFC North, right? I mean, it's not like you're sending him to the Vikings or to the Bears or to the Lions. Like you're getting him out of the division, you're getting him out of the conference. So, it wouldn't potentially bite you until the Super Bowl. Not that I would expect the Packers to get to the Super Bowl without Aaron Rodgers, but it's not going to have the same direct impact. Honestly, if it were me running the show there and it's gotten this bad and there's no patching it up, yeah, I'd be trying to trade him to an AFC destination. I'd be trying to trade him to the Broncos. Man, can I put a percentage on this? Percentage chance Aaron Rodgers is successful in getting dealt. God, I don't want to straddle the fence too much. Tell me if this sounds reasonable to you, Alex. I'm going to say 55% Rodgers will get traded. 55% he's going to be playing football and somewhere else next year. 45% he retires. I'm going to say him ever playing for the Packers again, I'm going to put that at 0. I don't think he's going to be a Packer again. Maybe if they had already fired that dopey GM of theirs, they might have been able to fix this by now. I don't know. There may be no turning back either way. Even if they were to fire Gutekunst tonight, it may not be enough at this point. Rodgers would say, "Hey, you should have done that a year ago when this guy traded up to draft Jordan Love." I'm going to go 55% Rodgers gets traded, 45% he retires. Either way, I don't think he ever plays another down in a Green Bay Packers uniform. I mean, he's already hurt the Packers in that he was telling prospective free agents, just so you know, I'm not going to be there next year. So he's already affecting decision-making of players that have hurt his franchise in the process. So to me, you don't cross that bridge unless you're serious. Like, you don't start telling players around the league, I'm not going to be here next year unless you're really serious about it, okay? So I think that bridge has already sailed for Mr. Rodgers. He'll be finding a new neighborhood next year. But, yeah, I think he's done. And you know what? I don't know if this necessarily means anything because they need bodies for workouts. But the Packers are looking to add a quarterback for their off-season workouts or at least for the start of training camp. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're actively looking to trade him because if he's not going to show up to training camp, even if it's his choice, not yours, you need another quarterback in camp because the only guy they have on the roster right now is Jordan Love. So the Green Bay Packers are reportedly, looking to sign some quarterback, some body to show up to OTAs and then to training camp because, you just to run practices, you need more than one quarterback. So that is happening right now. But yeah, I think the Aaron Rodgers era is over in Green Bay. This is pretty interesting. So the NFL is offering 50 tickets to vaccinated fans for the next Super Bowl. I'm assuming these are free tickets because obviously they'll sell tickets to anybody who can, pay the lofty prices. The league announced it will offer 50 tickets to Super Bowl 56. God, I'm so bad with Roman numerals. Yeah, 56. Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, February 13, 2022, to fans who have been vaccinated. This is a continuation of a cause that has seen more than 3 million vaccinations administered at 21 NFL stadiums and facilities since January. The NFL previously invited 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers to Super Bowl 55 in Tampa as guests of the league. So, yeah, I guess that the 50 people that they invite will be guests of the league, and you will not have to pay for your Super Bowl tickets. If you throw in the flight, it's a done deal. I'm vaccinated, bros. NFL, if you're listening, Roger Goodell, I love you. If you're listening right now, if you throw in my flight to L.A., because flights to L.A. are not that cheap, you throw in my flight, room and board, get me into that game, we can talk, bro. You know, I haven't even I've not taken advantage of the free donut. Like, don't I get a free donut at Krispy Kreme for getting vaccinated? That's actually the major reason why I decided to get vaccinated, was so I could get the free donuts and a chance at a free Super Bowl ticket. Not really. I mean, I didn't want to have to worry about COVID so much. But no, because I remember when I was getting my second shot on Monday, there was this like family there that they were about to get their second shot, and the daughter, like, this is like an adult daughter and like two elderly folks. And she was telling them, she's like, oh, hey, after this, we can go get a free donut at Krispy Kreme. And the light bulb went off in my head. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I could get a free donut. You know, I am convinced, by the way, that this family that was in front of me got like a special perk. So I was really annoyed when I was getting my second shot on Monday. And I'm so glad I got it. I'm so glad it's over with. I've gotten my 2 rounds of Pfizer. But I was really annoyed because, picture this, Alex. Here's what happened to me when I'm down at Walgreens getting my second shot. So, like, right when it was, like, my time for my appointment, I was scheduled for 10:20 a.m. And I'm, like, looking at my watch. It's 10:21. And this woman comes out of, like, the little pharmacy corner, and she tells me, Alexander? And I'm like, yes, that's me. She's like, so sorry to say this, but we're out for the day of doses. Like, we're out. And dude, you should have seen my face. Like, I drove all the way down to goddamn Homestead to get this. And you're telling me now right before my appointment you're out. Now, thankfully, it was a pain in the butt, but it was worth it. They were an hour away from restocking. Like, they got like another box of doses in. So I had to wait an extra hour, which was a huge pain. But they even said, "Hey, you can maybe go somewhere and come out." And I go, "No, I'm sitting right here and I'm waiting. I don't want to risk you forgetting to call me or me coming back. And there's no shots here, so I had to wait, an extra hour." But like the family of 3, like they all got their shots right before me together. It's like it doesn't seem possible. Like the way that I scheduled my appointment, it doesn't seem possible to schedule for the entire family at the same time. I think they did them a favor. I think one of those people got my needle. So I am convinced that I got screwed because that family probably showed up together and said, oh, we really want to get our shots at the same time. Only one of us is on the schedule, but you can spare 2. I think they sweet-talked them into giving them 2 extra needles, and one of those was my needle. So I had to wait an extra. I lost an hour of productivity thanks to that. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with professional boxer Brandon Figueroa, who's going to be fighting next Saturday, May 15th, live on Showtime. The Heartbreaker is going to join us when we come back here on Onside Radio. Hey, start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a Big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnSideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnSideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Christian Chase.
In Game 2 of the series between the Marlins and the Diamondbacks last night, the Marlins bats continued to stay hot. They put up 9 in Game 1, and last night they put up 8. Adam Duvall went deep for a 3-run homer in the second inning. Miguel Rojas, a double, a triple, scoring 3 runs, making great defensive plays. And even more shockingly, the bullpen on a bullpen day shut out the Arizona Diamondbacks for an 8-0 Marlins win. The Marlins now have a plus 18 run differential, which is good enough for best in the NL East, 3rd in the National League, and 8th in all of baseball. This Marlins team is good and only 2 games back of first place in the NL East. With a few more games versus the Diamondbacks and then a tough schedule ahead, it'll be interesting to see what they can do going forward.
For the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Hey, Alex, did you watch the Star Wars baseball broadcast a couple nights ago? I forgot to ask you about that yesterday.
I didn't. I saw the commercials about it, and obviously.
You didn't want to see Tim Kirkshin dressed as Chewbacca or whatever?
No, his voice already sounds like Yoda.
I think he was. Yeah, he was Yoda.
Oh, perfect.
He was. Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, you're right. He was Yoda.
Makes perfect sense, I'm trying to think. Maybe Peter Gammons. Trying to think of old baseball heads like in that industry. Maybe Peter Gammons is like C-3PO. I don't know if you know who Peter Gammons is.
I sure do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He reminds me of C-3PO. If we're gonna just start giving everyone Star Wars characters, and then Eduardo Perez, because he's on the Baseball Tonight crew, former Marlins coach as well for a little bit. I see him as Chewbacca.
I could see
He's
that.
a big guy.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Chewbacca needs to be an abnormally large guy.
Yeah,
Like,
and maybe I'm trying to think of I don't think abnormally large guys that work in the sports baseball media, but I think he's my closest pick for Chewbacca, and maybe John Kruk, Jabba the Hutt.
Ooh, I like that.
He's also Baseball Tonight.
He looks slovenly. Yeah.
There's a couple characters right there, but I didn't see the actual airing of the game with the Star Wars characters and whatnot, and I didn't see either of the Marvel characters in the NBA. I get why Marvel. Well, Disney owns Star Wars too as well.
Yeah,
and
they own
ESPN,
everything.
So they're just trying to put everything in. They're just trying to mesh everything, just glue everything together, and say, well, it's all Disney.
Yeah, and and the nerds really get excited about the crossover stuff. I when I was watching WandaVision a couple months ago, and then when the version and it turned out to be kind of like a nonsense thing anyway when they explained it a couple of episodes later. But when Pietro showed up in WandaVision, and it was actually the guy who played that role in the Fox universe, not the Marvel universe, showed up. All the geeks were freaking out. Oh my God, bro, this is the crossover. It's happening. The X-Men crossover with Marvel is official. Go outside. I mean, find a hobby. These nerds go so crazy over crossovers. For me, a good movie is a good movie. The best superhero movies were the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. There was no crossover whatsoever. There's no Superman in those movies. There was no Green Lantern. There was no Oh, you know what I just realized, Alex? So, so Brandon Figueroa, which this ends up working out better anyway, he's going to join us on Fight Night tonight. So when I was throwing out the times at the PR guy, he said 4:20, but he meant 4:20 Pacific, which is in 3 hours.
So, that makes so much sense now.
Okay, hold on. So I'm just responding.
Okay.
I wrote in a couple LOLs in there because it's a funny situation. So
yeah. Classic mistake. It's okay.
Yeah, and that works even better because we'll have it on Fight Night. I like that a lot better.
And we still got Ira coming up too. So
we got Ira at 4:35.
Right.
I firmly believe the entire world should operate in Eastern Standard Time. I don't care where the sun is, wherever you live. We should always communicate. If you're in Indonesia right now and it's the middle of the night, it's still 4:30 in the afternoon. I believe it's just so much easier. I think we have the most densely populated time zone in the world. Well, maybe not. I don't know, China, India, they might throw it off. They might throw it off a little bit, but the Eastern Standard Time Zone. I think there are obviously there are parts of South America that are in this time zone. The East Coast of the United States, which is the most populated part of this amazing country we live in. Canada, I know some people in Toronto, and they're in the same time zone, and Montreal is in the same time zone. I firmly believe it would be so much easier to talk to people because every now and then, I have people that I talk to who are in Australia, people in all parts of Europe that I talk to, and it's you always have to decide which time zone are we talking about. If everybody just adopted the Eastern Standard Time Zone, then I think the world would be a much easier place to operate in, man. It would be much, much easier. By the way, we're getting a few, I'm a little bit late on this, but a few happy 420s on the chat line. By the way, the YouTube is back up. We had it going earlier, and for some reason the YouTube feed crapped out. We're back fully operational, much like the Death Star. We are fully operational. So if you log on to YouTube, search for Onside Radio, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Get in there to the live stream. You can hop on the live chat with me, chat with each other. Everyone has a good time in the YouTube live chat. We got Jimmy Shore in there. We got Herman Cueva. Oh, he says he loves the Twitter Onside Radio draft party video. Yeah, our guy Abel put that together, the video, and it's got Hit Squad, the Solo D track behind it. And Herman made an appearance in the video, I believe, because he was out there with us on Thursday, and I think he made the cut of the video, so that's great. Let's see. Herman asks, do you think the Packers might trade Rodgers to the Niners for Jimmy Garoppolo? Both teams need a quarterback. Love nor Lance are NFL ready. Your thoughts? That could work out for a couple of reasons. I think one of the problems being I don't think they want to trade Rodgers in conference. San Francisco's in the NFC, so that might be a tough sell for that reason. But obviously, both teams are looking to move on from one of those guys. But San Francisco just got Trey Lance, though. But Trey Lance won't be ready. Like you're saying, Trey Lance may not be ready year one, but he's going to be ready, I think, year two. And I think Aaron Rodgers has more than that left in the tank. I know Rodgers would love to go to San Francisco. And in fact, there were reports that San Francisco tried to acquire him before the draft even started. So that was their first choice over drafting Trey Lance. So that's a place that he wants to be. He's from that area of the country. But, hey, if you hate your family the way Aaron Rodgers is, you may not want to be closer to them, right? I mean, if you despise everybody that you knew from your hometown, you may not even want to be there. So I don't know. If I'm Green Bay and I'm going to trade him, I try as hard as I can to send him to the AFC. I think that would be my mission statement, that if you're getting similar offers from Denver, and to be honest, I don't think San Francisco would make the type of offer now that they would have made before the draft. It doesn't make sense after just drafting Trey Lance. So I think they're out of it. I think it's got to be Denver. And Denver, to me, they are an Aaron Rodgers away from competing for a Super Bowl. You can't say that about that many teams in this league, but the Denver Broncos, great players, tremendous defense. They were really held back last year by their quarterback position. That team is an Aaron Rodgers away from contending next year. So it makes all the sense in the world. All the sense. 844-416-8123 is how you get in. That's 844-416-8123. Got Europa League on, and it's a wild freaking game between Roma and Manchester United. They're in the 72nd minute now. So Man United had the early 1-0 lead. Roma, who have been absolutely lifeless lately. Now, Roma, their biggest news in the last week has come off the pitch because they've hired Jose Mourinho to take over next year. So Mourinho is on the way in. So maybe that gives them some sort of like an emotional lift because everyone's talking about Roma right now. They got played off the pitch last week against Manchester United, 6-2 in the first leg. So it's basically impossible for Roma to advance to the final because they're going to have to win this game by 5 goals. But, they were down 1-0. They took a 2-1 lead. Manchester United have tied it up. It's 2-2. Not as much going on in the other game between Villarreal and Arsenal. Villarreal have the 2-1 lead from the first leg. It's scoreless in the second leg, so Arsenal desperately need a goal. So that's what's happening there. So a lot less eventful than the Roma-Manchester United game. My guy Kai Chen Chisholm was asking me the other day. He actually nominated for Terrible Take Tuesday, Roma appointing Jose Mourinho as their next manager. I understand that Mourinho has a pretty piss-poor reputation right now because of the way things went south at United and the way things went south for him at Tottenham, and everyone's saying he's finished, and he's definitely not the manager he used to be. I mean, what he was at Porto, at my beloved Inter Milan, he was the only Italian manager to ever win a treble. Like Inter are the only team to do that, and they did it under Mourinho's guidance. They won the Scudetto in Serie A, they won Coppa Italia, and they won Champions League. No one else in Italy has ever done that. It was an incredible, incredible season. So there have been, some what have you done for me lately since his stops at Real Madrid and at Chelsea. He's not really been the same guy since, but I think his tactics are better suited for Italian football than they are for the Premier League because he's more of a defensive, pragmatic manager, and that still works in Italy in a way it doesn't really work in England. So right there, I think he could be more successful. I just think the big question is because Roma has had a very limited budget. They're not a big spending club. Like they don't have the types of budget as these Premier League clubs he's been at in recent stops. So really the question to me is what kind of players can they buy for him is the big thing. Like he might just be held back by a subpar roster. All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little Miami Heat basketball with our good friend Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel with the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. That is coming your way next. Hey, Heat and NBA fans, catch Ira here exclusively at OnsideRadio.com with our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnsideRadio.com and when news breaks. Basketball fans know Onside Radio is the place you get the insight you need.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Per Adam Schefter, the Miami Dolphins have informed team captain Bobby McCain that they are releasing him today. The Miami Marlins take Game 2 of their series against the Arizona Diamondbacks 8-0. Adam Duvall led the way on offense with a home run and 4 RBIs, and Miguel Rojas scored 3 times. The teams are back at it tonight at 6:40. Madison Bumgarner and Pablo Lopez will be your pitching matchup for tonight. The Miami Heat are off until Friday night when they host the Minnesota Timberwolves at the AAA. The Florida Panthers are off until Saturday. They welcome the Tampa Bay Lightning for a pair of games to end their regular season. And this Sunday, Inter Miami CF welcomes the Atlanta United to Drive Pink Stadium at 1 p.m., which means Big O and Alex Donno will get you started with the Onside Radio pregame show starting at noon, leading into the call of the game with Chris Whittingham, Thomas Rognan, and Fernando Fiore at 1 p.m. You're listening to South Florida's only local sports talk station. And don't forget, guys, at 7 p.m., we have the debut of Fight Night with Alex Donno. It'll air every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. right here at OnsideRadio.com.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Riddle me this, with all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between...
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yo, it's time for the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. I don't care what they're saying around town. There is nothing sorry ass about our next guest, Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Good afternoon, Ira. How are you?
It's funny because that's what it says actually on the back of my jersey is not sorry ass. So, yeah. It's like, I think that's like the Reese's commercial, sorry, not sorry. Yes.
And you've got a great sense of humor, by the way. That exchange was interesting with Jimmy Butler, and it went viral. But Ira, what you said to him, I know he dismissed your remark about challenging games ahead. Like he totally dismissed it, and then the Heat did go out there and lose to the Mavericks. So I would say that's a point for Ira. And now we're concerned about that dreaded play-in possibility.
Yeah, you know what? My goal was never to put anyone behind the 8 ball like that, but Donno, it doesn't stop because after Minnesota, which is coming off a 40-point performance by Anthony Edwards, they play tomorrow at American Airlines Arena. The Heat go to 2 games in Boston that basically will determine the fate of their regular season. If they win both, they could be very well positioned not only to finish 6th, but maybe even finish 5th in the 4-5 against Atlanta. If they lose even one, I think their fate will be cast in a play-in game after the end of the regular season back at American Airlines Arena, most likely against Charlotte. So if you're one of those people who says the NBA regular season doesn't matter, Sunday and Tuesday, both nationally televised games, will matter a lot to the Heat.
There are a number of different Heat players that have been missing time throughout the year, and I know it's more challenging when you have a condensed schedule like this, but are all the Jimmy Butler absences, is it concerning? Now, you did point out very well on Ask Ira that, out of the 18 games he's missed, 10 of those were not his choice. They were health and safety protocols. But, I mean, we need all hands on deck, Ira, the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know what? I that's why I put that on my Ask Ira at sunsentinel.com because of that reason. Any game missed due to COVID, you can't blame a player more than you could blame anyone else in society with what everyone is going through. And thank God for the Heat and all players in the NBA. They've emerged from the other side, mostly without lingering symptoms. There have been some. But then you could say the same thing about Jason Tatum or about Kevin Durant missing time like that. So I sort of wipe those off the board and I say, okay, Jimmy Butler missed 8 games. Not optimal, but in a season this congested with so many games and with everything the Heat are asking him to do, no, I don't blame him. Attendance is not an issue with Jimmy Butler. Maybe you could look at some other players that the Heat have been resting along the way. It's unfortunate, but we knew it would be that kind of season. The greater question is the depth that's available. Is it quality enough? Is there a reason the Heat did not pick up a 15th player when they had a chance 2 weeks ago? Now they could pick up 2 different players if they want to, carrying Udonis with that 15th roster spot. So did the Heat position themselves well enough in a season of attrition to be able to get through moments like this? I know your listeners are going to have pushback. Your 15th and 14th man should make a difference. You know what, Donno? In a regular season, I would agree. This is not a regular season.
And Udonis still has not played a minute all year. Are we going to see him before the regular season ends, you think?
I almost think, and again, I don't know this, so I'm just surmising here, that Eric Spoelstra almost might have lost track of this situation. Almost thinking, what do you mean I didn't play him already?
He's still
here. Yes, he gets in now only because I think we've raised, the awareness of that level that very much Udonis hasn't played. He can't not get in. I mean, can you imagine him not getting credit for playing an 18th NBA season simply because over the course of 72 games they couldn't find a single minute for him? So, yes, he gets in, and what they need is a blowout situation because, again, Donald, let's go past tomorrow's game against the Timberwolves. For whatever reason, he doesn't get in the game. Well, the 2 games in Boston are going to be probably close games. The Heat are opening till the end. Then you come back home, your final home game, you're playing Philadelphia. That could be a down-to-the-wire game. Then you're playing at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's playing for seeding also. So all of a sudden, if UD gets a stomach ache, if he's contact traced or something like that, going into the season finale in Detroit, there's no more chance. You can't leave it to risk that situation. So I think sooner rather than later, maybe even tomorrow, because you'd like to do it at home. There are no guarantees next week against the 76ers. That would be my take on it.
Joined here by Ira Winderman, covers the Miami Heat in the NBA for the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Ira, what's really going on with Victor Oladipo? Is there any frustration from the Miami Heat side of things that he's so hesitant to play when the MRI didn't show any structural damage and the X-rays were negative?
if it is the subluxation of the knee, however you pronounce that, then that's a 3 to 6 week injury. No one is telling us that. We've had to survive it. You know this, Donno, as well as anyone from hockey. The old upper body or lower body injury, which means either a leg or an arm fell off. So you certainly can just cloak it as knee pain, which is what they are. But if it's an injury, it's an injury, and it happens. And if you're injury-prone or you have a pre-existing condition, that can happen also. So the notion out there that Victor is slow playing this, I don't buy that at all.
Okay.
There's a reason here, whether it's a pain level, an injury level, a risk level. Yes, he's an impending free agent. There's also that risk. I believe if Victor could get out on the court, he would get out on the court. He got hurt on a play after making 2 very emphatic dunks against the Lakers. Yeah, it's a shame. If you had him back for some of these games that slipped away, I think a lot would have changed. But you know what? It's sort of like what Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra have always said. Let's not talk about who's not here. Let's talk about who's here. And I think that's how the Heat are approaching it.
We're joined by Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, so a really, really important stretch coming up for the Miami Heat. Ira, we've had a number of players, most notably LeBron James, really speak up against the play-in. He said whoever came up with that should be fired. A few days ago I saw some comments from Udonis Haslem, who's not a fan of it. And he did say, though, hey, we're the Heat. We'll deal with whatever they put in front of us. So I do like that attitude, even coming from a guy who doesn't really actually play. I still appreciated those comments. But do you think this play-in is a good thing or a terrible thing?
I think it's a very good thing because I think it has kept teams involved and interested, and that's all you could ask for at this point from NBA teams. So of course the teams at 7 and 8, when they realize they're going to be at 7 and 8, don't like it. I guarantee you the teams at 9 and 10 think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So it's just a matter of where you stand. But, Donno, you know this because you follow it. You've done daily sports talk shows. There's been so little talk of tanking.
Yes,
that teams,
great point.
if they have a chance, are playing for that chance. And that's the most important thing. How do you make the regular season more important? The critics are saying by allowing in the 9th and 10th teams and 20 of 30 teams have a chance for the playoffs, you're cheapening the regular season. I look at it the other way. I'm saying, wow, I really haven't heard a lot of tank talk at all. I haven't heard much talk about teams saying we've got to go out and make sure we lose tonight. So I do think it works, but I do think it is too punitive. And I think if you even made it just 8, 9, and 10, in other words, if you're the last one on the list in the playoff list, and I'm not saying this just because he can fall to number 7, why not have number 9 play number 10 and the winner play number 8? You still have as many teams as involved, right. But now you're protecting the sanctity of finishing in the top half of a 15-team conference. So if you're in the top half, 7 or above, you're in. If you're exactly in the middle at number 8, hey, you know what? You get stuck in mediocrity, you have to do a little bit more. I think that might be the compromise after this season. You still would have as many teams as involved, just not one additional team involved in that risk.
I like that. So another player, Ira, who's missed time recently, 6 straight games, is Tyler Hero. And, of course, he's been the topic of so many discussions over the last couple of months when it comes to, all the things he's doing off the court. But if we're just going to evaluate Tyler Hero as the basketball player this season, coming out of the bubble last year, the expectation of the fan base just went sky high with Tyler. Do we just need to now sit back and accept the idea that, Tyler Hero doesn't really have the superstar ceiling that a lot of fans expected he did?
Well, it's interesting, Donno, because really, when did we fall in love with Tyler Hero? That was during the playoffs.
Yep.
That's when he was having his big games and everyone took notice. So I would argue there still is time for Tyler Hero to be everything he was last season. If he's healthy, if he can come back, if he can participate in the playoffs. I think until the playoffs, Tyler Hero had a nice year, but the Heat's best rookie was Kendrick Nunn, even as he fell off toward the final 2 months of the season before the NBA shutdown. So I think there still is time for Tyler. I think people are looking at his 2 months in the bubble instead of really his overall rookie season, which was uneven at times. So there's a future for Tyler, but we probably anointed the boy wonder a little bit too much. We probably incorrectly mocked Paul Pierce for arguing that he's not a bucket. Perhaps he's not. But if you're saying to me, Ira, a season and a half, or based on the shortened schedules, or even 2 seasons into Tyler Hero's career, are you willing to write him off? I mean, that's silly. That's stupid. There's still plenty of time for him to become a quality NBA player. And I think his ultimate destiny will be as an instant offense, ignitable sixth man, and I still feel he absolutely can meet that destiny.
I like it. So when the regular season is all said and done, what seed do you think the Heat end up in?
I think they're going to be number 7 because I don't think they'll be able to sweep the 2 games in Boston. They've shown nothing this season of having that type of big game consistency. I hope that I'm wrong, but I think it's what it comes down to. I think you win tomorrow against Minnesota. You can't lose to the Timberwolves twice in the same season.
Nope.
But then it all comes down to 2 games in Boston. It comes down to Sunday afternoon at 1, Tuesday night at 7:30. We'll have a read after that. Otherwise, you're going to have to win at least one additional game to get to the playoffs. Not easy, perhaps not fair, but I think ultimately that's what they are. But again, if they are who they say they are and they win both games in Boston, I think that could change the entire perspective on the regular season. So, you know what? After all of these weeks, and after all of these months, it comes down to 1 week for the Heat. With the games against Boston, the games against Philly, the games against Milwaukee, there still is time for a statement.
Love it. Excellent stuff here as always. You want to make sure you check out Ira's work in the South Florida Sun Sentinel and check him out on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And make sure you submit your questions to Ask Ira. He does an awesome job with that. This has been the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report. Ira, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your week.
And if they don't sweep in Boston, my sorry whatever will be in the lineup next week. Thank you, Donna.
Love it. Love it. Great stuff from Ira. We will wrap up the 4 o'clock hour when we come back here on Onside Radio. So this is, I mentioned the Dolphins are getting a lot of credit for their draft last weekend. Getting a ton of credit from Daniel Jeremiah. We'll get into that when we come back. Hey, Onside Radio understands gaming is a big part of the sports landscape. That's why every day we keep you updated with some of the latest gaming news with Onside Radio's E-Minute, hosted by Toast, Kai, and Michael Christian. If you miss it, it's podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review. OnsideRadio.com is the station gamers call home.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
The 25-year-old was reportedly arrested this past week near Vail, where a sheriff's deputy said he saw Camargo's car speeding and changing lanes erratically, which is always really smart. When you're carrying a lot of drugs, you want to speed, you want to swerve, you want to look like you're drunk and high and all that. You want to cause as much attention. You want to bring as much attention to you when you're carrying a load of drugs. That's just the tip for you, thieves out there, you drug dealers, you criminals. Bring all the attention possible to you while you're committing a crime. It's really, really smart.
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and ginger.
He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Putting some respect on Jose Borregales' name. Just reading this from CanesWarning.com. Jose Borregales, he went undrafted, although he ended up going to a great spot, right? I mean, if you could either be, and I'm sure there's probably a little bit of financial incentive, of course, that it's better to be drafted, although it's different with kickers because, kickers don't often get drafted to begin with. It's usually maybe one or two per draft. There was only one kicker drafted this time. I'm sure, though, financially, it's better to be drafted in the 7th round than go undrafted. But if you could choose to be drafted like in the 7th round and go to a crappy team versus getting undrafted free agent but signing with the Buccaneers, maybe the Buccaneers is the right call because Mr. Borregales is going to get a chance to win a ring next year. Former Miami Hurricanes kicker Jose Borregales was named the 3rd best specialist and top-ranked kicker among undrafted free agents following the conclusion of the 2021 NFL Draft. Borregales was the top-ranked kicker entering the NFL Draft, but Evan McPherson of Florida was the only kicker selected. And he went, to Cincinnati? Well, those knuckleheads can't draft anyway. So, I mean, would you expect them to get it right and actually take the best kicker? Probably not. Borregales had an outstanding career, writes Alan Rubenstein at CanesWarning.com, and won the Lou Groza Award as the top kicker in the nation in his only season with the Miami Hurricanes in 2020. In 3 seasons with FIU and one with Miami, Borregales made 98.2% of his PATs, 79.5% of his field goal attempts, and he scored 378 points. He had by far his best collegiate season with Miami. In 11 games, Borregales made all 37 of his PATs, was 20 for 22 on field goal attempts, and scored 97 points. The 97 points were just 3 off the career high Borregales set in 2019 with FIU in 13 games. Borregales made all 11 of his field goal attempts inside 40 yards in 2020. And I like, and he was a grad transfer, so he would have, even under the old rules, he would have been able to play immediately. But now, the NCAA has opened it up, and players, aren't having to really sit out the year anymore. I actually love it. The traditionalists don't like it because the traditionalists don't want college football to become like free agency, right? Like they don't want players to just decide, I don't like it here, I'm not getting enough playing time here, I'm going to go somewhere else. Because in the past, it was punitive. Like in the past, you really had to think twice about transferring because, maybe there's too much depth at your position at the school you currently reside, but if you want to go somewhere else, you've got to sit out a year, so you're really going to think long and hard about it. Now, more and more players are just going to enter the portal, and they're just going to go from school to school like it's nothing. And so I know a lot of traditionalists don't like it. Like earlier this week on the Five Rings Canes podcast that I do with Larry Bluestein, we were interviewing Melvin Bratton, former great Miami Hurricanes running back from the late 80s. And he brought up not really liking the NCAA transfer situation, that players can just go anywhere. I understand why people don't like it, but if you ask my opinion, what's fair is fair. I hate the fact that these head coaches can just pack up and leave whenever they want to, go wherever they want, and they don't have to sit out a year. And they're making millions of dollars. The players aren't making anything. I know we're opening up the name, image, and likeness thing, which is awesome, but not every player is going to have access to that right away. I mean, you consider these guys unpaid amateurs, and, in the past we were penalizing them for changing schools when these coaches don't get penalized. These coaches are making multi-million-dollar moves, and there's nothing punitive about that. So why are we punishing players for wanting to leave and better their lives, and we don't penalize coaches for it, and they're the ones getting paid and the players aren't? So, you got to make it consistent on both sides. So I'm not going to complain. And obviously it sucks because, what we loved about, decades ago was if you were 4 or 5 deep in a depth chart at a position, these guys were going to compete. That's just the way it used to be. You remember in 2001, Miami Hurricanes in their running back room, they had Clinton Portis, and they had Frank Gore, and they had Willis McGahee, and they had Najee Davenport in the same goddamn backfield, and none of them transferred. They all competed. They all found time to get on the field. You didn't have a situation where 2 of them decided to go play for another school. Different time, different era back then. But I think you need to make it consistent. If coaches are able to do whatever they want to and go whatever they want to, we need to make it that way for players as well. What's fair is fair, man. 844-416-8123. 844-416-8123. Joseph in the YouTube chat said, "Hey, Donno, did I miss your take on the Bobby McCain release?" He did miss it. I'm sorry. I do have something else to say about it on the other side. And did you see who the Dolphins have signed? Somebody wrote that in the chat earlier, and I thought they were joking. So McCain is out, and there is a new Dolphin in. We'll tell you why for a couple of different reasons. This is incredibly interesting. It's coming your way next here on Onside Radio. Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day from 10 a.m. to noon for Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida Sports Talk, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast. May is here, which means hurricane season right around the corner. You need to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your house so that you're fully protected when we get a big storm coming on through. For those windows, only one place to call. My buddies at B&T Windows and Doors. They've been doing it in South Florida for decades, and they will set you up with the best in the business. PGT Custom Windows and Doors. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126 for B&T Windows and Doors.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 5 o'clock hour of Man of the Match with Alex Donno. I'm Alex Donno, and I'm with you for another hour here on OnsideRadio.com, taking you up until 6 o'clock today. We got Alex Aguirre in studio with me producing the show. We're going to have Thomas Rongen on in 20 minutes to talk some Champions League. We got the dreaded all-English final coming up. I know we got a lot of the soccer bros, a lot of the Chelsea fans. Pulisic, he's the best. So Chelsea advanced past Real Madrid. Manchester City KO'd PSG. I'm guessing that if I were to poll my audience, for those who are soccer fans, of course. If you're not a soccer fan, maybe you don't care. But if you are a soccer fan, if I were to poll my audience, I would say 90% of you will be pulling for Chelsea in the Champions League final. Manchester City, there are some bandwagoners. They're the oil money club. My good friend Tito Benach, who used to be one of our producers here, last week was his last week. He now works with CBS Interactive, and Tito, of course, is still a dear friend of mine. But he is actually a hardcore Manchester City fan, and I wouldn't classify the guy as a bandwagoner. As long as I've known him, he's been a Manchester City fan. So I'll let it slide. My buddy Josh Webb is a big Manchester City fan. Chris Whittingham is a Manchester City supporter. So I do know a handful, but all the soccer bros are all going to be pulling for Chelsea. And I'm going to ask Thomas Rongen who he gives the edge to. So you're going to give the edge to Chelsea. And out of those two teams, yeah, I'd much prefer to see Chelsea win it. Right? I mean, Chelsea, they've got a lot of homegrown talent. Now, of course, some of their best players like Pulisic, they did, make big money transfers for. But Chelsea's got a great academy. They, for the most part, they built their squad the right way. They're not just like emptying the oil reserves of Saudi Arabia to buy their players the way that Manchester City do. And, Manchester City, actually, they should have been barred for competing in this year's Champions League because they were penalized a couple of years ago by UEFA, corrupt organization, for circumventing financial fair play. And then they appealed it and won. So they should have not been able to participate in Champions League this year. So they shouldn't even be in a position where they're in a final. Chelsea had their own issue, less serious than that a couple years ago, and they had a transfer ban 2 summers ago. So, both of these teams have been skirting around the rules in recent years. But between the two of them, no, I'd absolutely rather see Chelsea win it over Man City. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to talk with Thomas Rongen. We'll talk some Champions League and some Inter Miami with him. Jimmy Shore writes in on the YouTube chat. He says, my pizza just arrived. I tipped him $1. He wanted more. Not my fault he didn't go far in school. Oh, my God, bro. Savage. When you go through like the whole thing with the delivery, you've got to leave the guy a few bucks, man. $1, that's not cool. Now, here's my thing. So you could call Jimmy cheap for only tipping the pizza guy $1. I respect the delivery institution enough to know you have to tip them at least a few bucks, but at the same time, I'm so cheap, I never order delivery. I do carry out only. It's like a life hack. When you do carry out, there's no delivery fee, and you don't have to tip a delivery guy. So I think the biggest problem with the United States of America, and I want all of you to listen to me very closely, we are way too lazy. Like, we have way too many conveniences here. And a lot of times, I think the reason why we have like so much debt is because I've seen the stats before. Like, Americans carry more credit card debt and like various other debts than the people of any other country in the world. In Japan, no one has like any debt. Like they pay for everything in cash. When they buy houses, they have to pay up front. Like, they don't get mortgages there. Like, their debt is a foreign concept in Japan. Americans, we are accustomed to, we will sacrifice debt in favor of convenience, right? So it's like, okay, I can go to the pizza joint. I can actually drive there, walk inside, carry out a pizza for $10. Instead, some of you would say, well, no, I'm just going to sit my ass on the couch. I'm going to order it. Someone is going to drive it to my home. And so then on top of the $10 I'm paying for the pizza, I'm paying $2 or $3 for a delivery fee, and I've got to tip the guy $3 on top of that. You are willingly paying $16 for a $10 pizza just so you can get it delivered to your house so you don't have to take your ass off the couch. I don't understand it. Like, it's not a problem for me to actually drive to the place. Now, I'm not going to drive like a half hour out of the way, but a place a half hour from you is not delivering to your home anyway. Usually the places that deliver to your home are like a mile away to begin with. I mean, are you a big delivery guy, Alex? Because I believe I've just debunked it. Like delivery to me is a giant waste of money.
I was big on delivery when I was away for school in Gainesville. I use the delivery a lot because I was just lazy and cooking and whatnot.
I get it. It's laziness.
Like after just a long day of like just in school and like studying stuff, the last thing I want to do is start cooking because I'm already starving by the time I get back to my place.
I hear you.
So the delivery was just quick, or I just get something from the drive-thru really quick. But yeah,
the drive-thru's way better. Like carry out is fine because carry out
you pay for half your meal through the fees and the taxes
and
everything.
Right. Listen, I mean, you don't tip the lady at the drive-thru window. I mean, maybe if you're like incredibly nice, maybe
right.
I don't know anybody.
I've never met anyone who's done that.
That's not really part of it. Like you don't tip the drive-thru person, and you don't pay a delivery fee.
Right.
So it's like, to me, you're automatically, like when people do this Uber Eats thing, it's like, hold on, how much of, like, why do I need a middleman to get in the, like, why do I need to pay Uber like a few bucks or several bucks just to get the food here that I'm already paying for? I'm going to go myself.
I've done Uber Eats before. They make, like if you work at it and you do it for a good amount of hours per day, you make a pretty penny.
Oh, so you've actually been the Uber Eats guy.
I've been the Uber Eats guy.
No, and that's a great hustle. Like, honestly, because there are so many lazy people who don't know the value of the dollar, who are willing to pay like double their money to get it delivered. If you can be on the other side of the equation and you can profit from that, that's capitalism, my friend. Like, that was smart. If you are the Uber Eats guy and you take advantage of the lazy person who can't drive a mile to pick up their own food, and you make money for that transaction.
Yep. And after doing Uber Eats, that's when I was like, I don't think I'm never gonna like do delivery or do Uber Eats or Postmates or whatever. Only in case like everyone's doing it and we're like all ordering food together. Yeah, but like after working for Uber Eats, that's when I realized that people are legit like spending double for what they actually are eating, So that's when I was like, let me just hold off on this Uber Eats stuff. I don't mind working for it, but like using it, it's a different story.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. All right, so to Joseph in the YouTube chat who was asking, did I miss your take on Bobby McCain? Yeah, Bobby McCain, we found out this morning the Miami Dolphins released him. He's one of the team captains. McCain, great human being. I covered him in the Dolphins locker room for a few years. Leadership, tremendous player. Not a Pro Bowl type of guy. Like, he's not an elite player at any position, but his versatility is what made him valuable with the Dolphins. Nickel corner, free safety. This guy got moved around, was good, serviceable at both of those spots. And I'm really sorry to see him go. What happened to Bobby McCain today, it's a reminder that the NFL is a business. It's not personal, it's business. Because what happened to Bobby McCain, this is not a bad player. This is not a guy who isn't valuable to the Miami Dolphins on the field and in the locker room. This guy's a leader, and he's a good player. So when Chris Grier made this decision, it's strictly about the financials, right? The Dolphins have depth now at safety. Malik Hooker. I mean, maybe the fact that they signed this tight end today means it's not going to happen with Malik, but he was in for a free agent visit this week. They just drafted Javon Holland, who, Big O and I talked about it during the draft, that Javon Holland is, we didn't think it would be right away, day one, but that Javon Holland was going to be the long-term Bobby McCain replacement, so that maybe now it's just been accelerated. Bobby McCain's release was strictly about saving $5.5 million under the salary cap. That's what this comes down to. It gives the Dolphins more salary flexibility. They're now going to be able to, for sure, sign all of their draft picks without any issue. So, if not for the Bobby McCain release, then maybe the Dolphins would have had to restructure some other salaries to make sure they can sign all their players under the cap. So this gives them more flexibility. This is strictly a business decision, and I hate to see it. I really do. Hopefully this just means the Dolphins have a ton of faith in Javon Holland. But they've already replaced McCain's roster spot. So this news came out. The Miami Dolphins signed, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name correctly, Jibri Blunt. The Dolphins, or maybe Jibri, Jibri. The Dolphins have signed Jibri Blunt to give him an opportunity to play in the NFL. He's listed as a tight end. So it's strange now because the Dolphins have how many tight ends on the roster? But here's the thing. In the case of Jibri Blunt, they're taking a flyer, okay? This guy has never played organized football in his entire life. He's never played organized football. He's 6'7", and he played college basketball at North Carolina Central. So this is one of those projects where you take a very tall basketball player and convert them to tight end. That worked out very well with Jimmy Graham. I remember covering Jimmy Graham at the University of Miami as a basketball player. And then his senior year, he decided to play football. He had 1 year at Miami at football where he was all right, but you could tell he was learning the position. He gets to the NFL, he becomes elite. So, Blunt is a little bit behind the eight ball there because he didn't play at all in college. But the Dolphins are taking a flyer on him saying, hey, this is an elite athlete. He's got incredible height, incredible wingspan. And if we can teach this guy how to catch and how to run routes and how to block, he could be a next-level NFL player because you see, I mean, obviously basketball players historically transition very well to tight end. I mean, Tony Gonzalez and who was the guy, I don't know, who played for the Chargers for many years?
Gates?
Yeah, Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Jimmy Graham. Like, we've got big history of basketball players, forwards in college basketball who convert to tight end at the NFL and have wonderful careers. And he does have a football pedigree. He's the son of Hall of Famer Mel Blount, a former Pittsburgh Steeler. So he does have football in his DNA. He's been around the game, all right? He's the son of a Pro Football Hall of Famer, but he was an elite basketball player. So the Dolphins, this is an interesting project. This is an interesting flyer they're taking. Jimmy writes in, he's going to be the next Antonio Gates. We hope at least. Oh, man. Raging Dolphins Maniac writes, I'm not big on delivery, but I've done it more during the pandemic. Under normal circumstances, I'd rather take the tip and get a better pizza. Yeah, you know, I can understand, like, when everything was on lockdown, that must have been a really popular option, right? When, like, you couldn't go sit down at restaurants, that delivery was a big thing. I was a huge takeout guy during lockdown. That's when, like, and it was always a weird thing because, like, I would start going to places like that I would usually sit down at. Like, I'd go to Flanagan's and I'd be doing carryout, and it's weird because then you're waiting in because Flanagan's is whether they're locked down or not, that's a really freaking popular restaurant. So I'd wait in like a 20-car long line just to like pick up the food that I pre-ordered at Flanagan's. And then, like, the thing is, I love the Flanagan's food. Like, I did carry out also at places like Outback a couple of times. I'm a big fan of the Bloomin' Onion. The food is never the same when you take it home. It's never the same. Like, when you eat it in the restaurant, they serve it to you right there, fresh out of the kitchen, you hope. It's a really special experience. By the time you get the Bloomin' Onion home, like, you know, the 10 minutes you wait for it, the 10, 15 minutes it takes to drive it home, it's not the same. It's not the same. So I'm a big dine-in guy. Like, I'm glad we're getting back to that now, right? I'm glad that restaurants are open. You can eat inside. You know, we've been doing that for months. I know that some people were, like, afraid to eat inside for a while, but, you know, pretty much everyone is getting back to it now, especially if you've been vaccinated, because I miss that, man, because, like, takeout is not really the same. Like, I don't mind, like, cooking at home. Like, I can cook a few dishes. My parents' house is 15 minutes away from my house, and my father is a ridiculously good cook, so I don't mind going over there and getting some food whenever I can. But as far as, like, eating out, I much prefer actually dining in than carrying out or delivery because there's just something special about eating that food. Jimmy writes in, I have to do delivery. I am overweight, 44-inch waist. He says if I get COVID, I will die. Well, dude, I don't want you to die, bro. So actually, you know what? If getting the delivery makes you feel safer, my friend, I can respect that, Jimmy. If you're and you know what, listen, you know your body, you have respect for COVID, you fear it, and you're being responsible. I can give you brownie points for that, man. I can, but I got to tell you, $1 to the pizza guy is not enough of a tip. You got to step that up a little bit. I mean, Alex, you did Uber Eats, you said, right? Yeah. Now, how you could take tips as an Uber Eat, right? If somebody gave you just $1 for a big food delivery, you'd probably be insulted, right?
I mean, like, you're allowed to tip through the app as well,
right?
But you can tip in person. Like when I make the delivery, you can.
I like to do the tip in person. Like I like to see the look on the face when they receive the tip. I think it's a very important part of the social contract.
I mean, when I was a bag boy, this was years and years ago. When I was a bag boy in Publix, you're not allowed to get tips. But I always they said like you shouldn't accept tips from the customers.
Right.
I didn't care about that.
Nor should you.
Someone,
I mean, come on, let's be real
I was like
here.
16 years old. I was like, if someone gives me $1 for like taking their cart to their car, you bet your ass I'm gonna take the tip. And yeah, like so I wouldn't mind like even like I made a delivery because Uber Eats pays you already for like the delivery and then some.
Yeah.
So then the tip would just be additional. if someone gave you a tip through Uber Eats. But if I was just a normal delivery guy, let's say for like Papa John's or like Domino's or something like that, yeah, I would expect to get a tip if I make a delivery to your house. If you don't give me a tip or a $1 tip, I'm gonna be a little bit insulted. Yeah, I would admit that.
Yeah, and listen, like I'm very frugal, but I understand like the need to tip. It's just part of society. You know what used to drive me crazy? Like Uber eventually fixed this. And I've never done Uber Eats, but I've taken Ubers like as a taxi before. I've done it I haven't done it in a long time because I have not Ubered since before COVID, but I've Ubered many times in my life. And they didn't start until a few years ago actually accepting tips on the app, which I think is great because Alex, I used to be very confused about Uber etiquette because when Uber first started, they used to publicize that this was not a tipping business. Like Uber used to say, like Uber, because I think they wanted to really appeal to customers and say, hey, by the way, with Uber, you're not supposed to tip. Like that's what they used to say. And so, okay, if you tell me I'm not supposed to tip, I'm going to say, all right, I guess I'm not supposed to tip. So what I found was happening, this was years ago when I first started taking Ubers, something you have to know about me, I am a great Uber customer. Right? I don't show up to your car usually super drunk. Maybe it's happened to me a couple times. So I'm not going to like puke in your car. I'm not one of those passengers who's going to tell you what music to play. What do I care? Play whatever freaking music you want to. If you're the driver, I believe drivers have the music. I'm not one of those passengers who says, bro, you got to turn on my songs. Here, let me plug my phone into your car. No, I'm not going to do that nonsense. All right. But I didn't know years ago that a lot of the Uber drivers expected you to tip them under the table, right? Because Uber used to tell you don't tip Ubers, but the drivers felt differently about it, okay? And remember, when you take an Uber, not only do you have to rate the driver 1 to 5 stars, the drivers rate you 1 to 5 stars. And I was a great passenger, okay? But I didn't know that some of the drivers were expecting tips, even though Uber said not to tip. So I didn't used to tip the Ubers until they added the tip feature on their app. And so I found, for reasons I could not explain, I got, out of like probably 25 rides, I got 2 or 3 4 stars, not 5 stars. How could this be? I asked people about it. I did a lot of soul searching, and I was notified, hey, they probably were upset you didn't tip them. And I was outraged because Uber says don't tip. Now, I think eventually Uber realized that, hey, drivers are, some of them, getting tipped or expecting tips, so they added a tipping feature on their app, which I use. So when I take it, I don't usually carry cash either, so that can be a problem with tipping. So when I take an Uber, I will leave them a, I think, generous tip through the app, and I didn't used to do that before they allowed it. All right, so we're gonna talk a little proper football with Thomas Rongen from CBS Sports, BN Sports, and Onside Radio. He's going to join us next year. Hey, sorry, I was finding a good liner to read. Hey, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts the Squared Circle Digest. Now wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, with you guys till 6 o'clock tonight, and then I'm back with you from 7 to 9 for Fight Night this evening. So this is the day of Donno. Although this has been a really tough week for my soccer bets. I lost money on Real Madrid on Tuesday. I lost money yesterday. I lost both Europa League games today, but we move on, my friends. Let's. Or actually, I lost money PSG on Tuesday, lost on Real Madrid Wednesday, and then 2 L's in Europa League. It's not been a great week. But it's always great when we can chat with our good friend Thomas Rongen, CBS Sports, and, of course, he provides color commentary for Inter Miami CF games here on Onside Radio. Another busy week of European football, Thomas. How's everything going with you?
Good. Well, it goes well with you. You need some help. You all right? I need to drive to the stadium. You need some support.
I'm okay because the last 2 weeks, I think I went something like 6-1 on Europa League and Champions League bets. So I'm taking L's
there
today.
You go. Okay.
Yeah, we'll recover. It all evens out. But before we get to the All English final and everything, I want to ask you, as a coach, your take on, I don't know what to call this with Eden Hazard, like a controversy. So he was photographed laughing with Kurt Zouma in the wake of Real Madrid's defeat to Chelsea. And, of course, whenever fans see an image like that of a player, getting knocked out of Champions League and not looking incredibly upset about it, fans are going to be really upset. He actually apologized to Real Madrid fans for that. As a coach, if you see a player who doesn't look motivated and distraught after defeat, is that a bad look, or is this whole thing, you think, being blown way out of proportion?
I think I don't want to sit on the fence. It's a combination of both. It's a moment after a game where his team underperformed, where his team didn't reach the pinnacle, which is the final. In a game where Hazard didn't perform well either. You go, really? I mean, 20 years ago, Donno, in my coaching career, I would have stepped in the president's office and would have said, "Get rid of him tomorrow."
Wow.
I've chilled and mellowed a little bit over the years, but I was so competitive. I was so competitive as a player, but also as a coach, that would be a bridge too far for me, and I would never ever accept that. Is it a single shot? Yes. Could he have done it in a locker room or even, before the flight? He should have. Can you have fun with your former teammates? Yes, you should. But at that particular time, probably talk about timing, one of the worst moments he could have picked. And I'm telling you, going back for Madrid, I think it's going to be the same for Eden Hazard, in particular after he's underperformed for 150 million and might go into history as the worst signing of any Galactico for Madrid. It's not a good look.
No, I think that's a great point. And you're right. He probably could have gotten more leeway from the fans if he's been playing great, but he hasn't, and he's been injured way too much, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. So that makes a lot of sense. Hey, by the way, what are the folks at CBS Sports and BN Sports saying about the Jose Mourinho appointment at Roma? I find it incredibly interesting because Roma, they don't have the sort of, at least historically, maybe now they're really committed to start spending more, but they don't have the budgetary history of some of Mourinho's previous stops. So I'm wondering if they will, be able to build the type of team he needs to win. But how do you feel about that appointment?
I think it's great for Serie A. I think it's great for Roma. It's perfect for Jose as well, because it's a team that proved today, by the way, beating Man United 3-2. Although that two-legged affair was pretty much over, that they have potential, and if there's one guy that can function with his current kind of coaching demeanor, which has been a little sarcastic and throwing players under the bus, I think that in Italy there's more acceptance towards defending well and winning 1-0, and that's fine. So I think actually that's the area where they need to improve. Now, it's part of the deal that he knows he's going to get some more money to make some changes, which the team needs, obviously. Are they going to compete for Serie A title next year? I doubt it, but look what Tuchel has done with Chelsea, for instance. Now, there is money there, no doubt, but he could take this team. He can't go further down. So I think it's great for Roma. It's great for Mourinho, where he goes backward. A lot of time he was there. He won a treble, I think. So
he sure did. Yeah. I remember that one very well, Coach.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, no, and you're right about it being good for Serie A. I mean, obviously, Conte's doing very well there domestically, and I think Juventus is probably going to bring back Max Allegri, which is certainly going to up their level. And Mourinho now at Roma. I just the team I'm wondering what they're going to do is AC Milan, because Stefano Pioli is not he's not lived up to the standard in the second half of the season he had in the first half. So I wonder if they're maybe going to go for a higher profile appointment. But we can certainly chat about that when that becomes more clear. So your take on this all English final we get in Champions League. Now, obviously this is not anything on the two teams individually. Personally, Coach, I'm not really a fan of the all-English final because Premier League fans are cocky enough, and this is only going to give them more ammunition for their superiority. So now I have to hear for the next several months about how every league is a farmers' league outside of the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I've lived it, by the way, when I had some very talented teams when I coached the under-20 national team, and when the Michael Bradleys, the Clint Dempseys, the Robbie Rogers, the early pioneers, after Howard and those guys went to Europe as well, they said the main obstacle is walking to a locker room and guys literally laughing at you. Where are you from? The United States? Well, you probably can't play. And that's mostly was in English locker rooms. So the lack of respect for not just the U.S. players, but players throughout and other countries, this is not going to help. You're right. The snobs in England will love this, with two teams in the Champions League final and one in the Europa League, almost two, obviously.
Right.
Thank God for Villarreal that gets a draw against Arsenal today. But the new order, and the English can say what they want, but the new order of foreign money and foreign coaches have made the difference in the EPL, obviously, and in Europe. You have Abu Dhabi versus Qatari, state-owned money basically running clubs, and that's the final for you.
You're absolutely right
which
about
is scary
that.
in itself.
Yeah.
What Tuchel has done, and Emery, both, by the way, got sacked by PSG. Tuchel won, by the way, the treble last year with PSG, went to the finals of the Champions League, and is let go. And right now, PSG is in the fight of their lives to win even what most people refer to the Farmers League, where Lille is leading right now with 3 games left. So huge disappointment for PSG, I'm sure. Chelsea is an oligarch in Abramovich, but again, the foreign money and the foreign coaches making a difference in England. One of the reasons I think the Italian and Spanish teams want to latch onto that Super League, because they're losing the battle right now in finances. They can't fight against the transfer money that exists in the EPL right now. It's crazy.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And so on to so we know the table is set, like you said, for the Champions League final. All English, Manchester City against Chelsea. I'm sure, Coach, probably 90% of my audience, I do know a couple of Man City fans, but I'm sure 90% of my audience will be rooting for Chelsea, and I'm sure Christian Pulisic has a lot to do with that. Who do you give the edge to in this final?
Not too long ago, and talking about Tuchel, who guided his team to the FA Cup final and beat Manchester City to get there, 1-0. And I'm telling you, that was not a 1-0 game. They play each other again, I think, before even the final. That will be a telling tale. But if I was a betting man, I'm not, but you are, I would put money on Chelsea. Seriously, who is the underdog probably going in? But that front four and how dynamic they are, and they just don't concede, which also City doesn't. Diaz, how big has he been, that guy from Portugal that Benfica let go for 70 million? Ryan Mahrez, just the Algerian, finally getting his due, but he's a big-time player that can score goals, obviously. Phil Foden, the 20-year-old, being the false 9. And talking about trends in soccer, Donno, where's the true number 9 out of the last 4 teams left?
Yeah,
it was Zidane, PSG, playing without a true 9, although they did with Icardi, but normally if Icardi doesn't start, it's Mbappe who's not a true number 9.
Oh, and Coach, Icardi, oh my God, with Icardi. Now, I used to deal with this when he played for Inter. I mean, if he's not scoring, he's worthless. I mean, he's a great poacher, getting on the end of crosses, conversion rate is great, but he offers nothing in the build-up, absolutely nothing. Such a frustrating player.
And that's what PSG needed. They needed him in the build-up to maintain possession, to get other people involved, and they never got the transition going with him. And I think he had like 20 touches over 90 minutes, and that's just not good enough. You're right. You look at Phil Foden's, the Mahrez's of the world, the De Bruyne's, they're all around 70, 80 touches with, by the way, a pass conversion rate of like 90+. Crazy. But should be a great final with 2 teams that like to attack and are solid defensively now, but still 3 or 4 individuals on both sides that we can get excited about. Being Christian Pulisic being one of them, although he didn't start, scores the goal in Madrid when they tie 1-1, and then has the assist on the Mount goal, which is brilliant. So, yes, nice to see an American doing good things, obviously, and then leading the charge for the U.S.
I'm very optimistic about Inter Miami this Sunday, Coach. I mean, they obviously they may have been outpossessed and all that against Nashville, but all the players that they were missing last week, I thought that was a tremendous result. And then this week, back at home, and you're going to have the Higuain brothers back. I think that's going to be a big boost for this team. I think Inter Miami are going to get a victory over Atlanta. How do you see this game going?
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, obviously, Atlanta started out gangbusters, but since that time haven't done well. They lost against Philadelphia, obviously a 2-legged affair for the CONCACAF Champions League, where, by the way, we had 5 teams in the quarterfinals and 1 left in the semis. It's Philadelphia. That's not a good thing, which means that the Mexican team is going to win it again. And then they lost against New England 2-1, tied Philadelphia, obviously, in the other game. Tied Orlando 0-0. So I think this is a great opportunity for a team that's really under their new coach, a great coach, by the way, the Argentinian Heinze, is still in transition, still get their big-time players back that are not clicking up on all cylinders. Martinez finally healthy, which is great for the league, the former leading goal scorer for Atlanta United. But I think if there's a time for us to take care of business at home with a team that has improved so much and can win ugly, can win pretty. I would like him to have a little bit more possession, no doubt. But I feel bullish about Sunday as well, Donno, the 1 o'clock against Atlanta United, that we get a resounding, in my opinion, victory with the Higuains coming back, and with Sagra showing that he belongs as the organizer of our defense, which is huge and was sorely lacking for some time. So we've improved dramatically in a lot of areas, and we're coming together. And I think that final third with the Higuain's coming back will be very interesting to see how Atlanta will deal with that. And the big question mark is Pizarro starting, yes or no?
Oh, what do you think? If you're gonna wager on that, is he starting?
I would probably bring Higuain back in as a starter. We know Fical isn't there, so that means Leerdam is fit again. Jovan Jones. I think we'll probably see the same midfield three with Gregory, Matuidi, and Pizarro. If I was Phil Neville, and I said I need to give him one more chance with that starting 11, which he wasn't in the last game. There was a lot of players missing. This is probably the game, and then bleed in. Gonzalo again if you need to, and if Gonzalo continues off the bench to perform or outperform Pizarro, then eventually you make that change. Maybe too early, but again, Phil Neville might go that way.
Always great stuff here. Thomas Rongen. You can watch him on CBS Sports, BN Sports, and, of course, you can hear him calling games alongside Chris Whittingham and Fernando Fiore here on Onside Radio, the Inter Miami CF radio network. So you're going to hear Thomas on that call Sunday, 1 p.m., Inter Miami hosting Atlanta United. Coach, thank you so much for the time, and we'll see you here Sunday.
Anytime, Donno. Take care.
Love it. By the way, I loved what he said about 20 years ago, how he would have handled the Eden Hazard situation. That you see a player after you get knocked out of Champions League, you see a player yucking it up and laughing with someone right after you get knocked out. How you would go to the president's office or the owner's office and say, "Get this guy off my team." Like honestly. That's an old school mentality, and I respect it, okay? And especially in the case of Eden Hazard, what has he actually done at Real Madrid? The guy has been a walking disappointment after they paid 150 million euros for him, and now he's going to be smiling and laughing after they get knocked out of Champions League. I can understand where the coach is coming from on that. 844-416-8123. 844-416-8123 is how you get in. We're going to continue till 6 o'clock tonight. Remember, tonight we will have the debut of Fight Night, and we're pretty loaded this evening, by the way. James Walker is going to be in studio with me. He's an MMA enthusiast. I've talked fighting with James many times. You guys probably remember James from his days at ESPN covering the Miami Dolphins. He is a mixed martial arts junkie, and he's going to be joining me in studio at 4. I'm thinking in Pacific time now. At 7:20, we're going to talk with welterweight champ in boxing, Brandon Figueroa, who's fighting on May 15th on Showtime. 7:35, we're going to talk with UFC veteran and coach now, Dean Thomas. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with Mike Vasquez from BYB Extreme. They've got a huge event coming up. You probably heard about it a little bit on this station, May 15th at the Fairgrounds, Tamiami. So that's going to be really, really awesome. I'm going to be out there at that on May 15th. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, so every Thursday, now 7 to 9 p.m., the debut tonight, Catch Fight Night, the show dedicated to combat sports from UFC to boxing to bare-knuckle brawling. I'll provide you guys, all combat sports fans, the insight and interviews you crave. Tune in every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. for Fight Night. Search and subscribe to the podcast by searching Fight Night on the home for combat sports, OnSideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnSideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Big O, Tito is not allowed in the Boom Boom Room. Never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Never seen Top Gun. What's the matter with these kids? Look at that. Now you can't hang out with Salma, Paige, Sophia. See, now you can't hang out with the ladies because you have not seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I would just hope that, like I said, the Boom Boom Room is sanitized. I would hope.
Well, I don't know, but did you hear about the 81-person orgy?
No.
What is wrong with you?
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Dude, so thanks again to Thomas Rongen, who just joined us, CBS Sports soccer analyst, BN Sports soccer analyst, and Inter Miami soccer analyst. This dude has a lot of jobs. He's out there making that money. And Thomas Rongen, he loves pizza as well. I wonder how much he tips the pizza guy. Alex, how much do you think is customary to tip the pizza delivery? Like, assuming it's not like a gigantic order, like let's say you get like 2 pizzas, like how much do you tip the delivery guy, you think?
Let's say like if it's like a $20 order, I'm probably giving like $5.
So you're a big tipper then, all right.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
because a few of my buddies have worked in that industry and like delivery and being a bus boy and being a cook in a restaurant and stuff, and it's hard, man.
It is.
It's brutal. So yeah, I do sympathize a bit, and I don't mind giving a little bit extra because what is like the general rule, like 18% or something like that?
But that's for like
restaurants
when someone's waiting on you.
Right. But yeah, like if someone's like give me like a $20 order for like a delivery, yeah, like a couple bucks, like $4 or $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like when I'm leaving a tip, and obviously for delivery guys, it's very easy because you hand it right to them. But I like to make sure they see me giving the tip. Like if you're getting takeout, and takeout is a weird one. Like takeout is kind of like you decide whether you want to tip or not. Like not everybody tips for takeout. I didn't used to tip for takeout, but admittedly, in recent years, you start to feel a little bit shamed. Because like most places when you get takeout, they leave a spot on the receipt for tip, and I feel terrible not filling out one. And some of them, like you pay on a little computer screen, like on an iPad, and it'll like ask you how much of a tip would you like to leave. And then there's like a big embarrassing button that you press that would say no tip, and I feel humiliated if I press the no tip button. So I leave tips out of shame. If nothing else. Part generosity, it's like 30% generosity, 70% shame. But every now and then you go to a place that's old school enough where they actually have a tip jar. And Alex, I can remember a few years ago, I was picking up Thai food. It's like an old school restaurant, and they had an actual tip jar. And I pull out like a couple bucks, and I'm dropping it into the tip jar. And the woman who was working the counter was turning away, like right when I was dropping in the tip. And so I did like a double clutch because I didn't want her to miss me dropping in the money. Like I wanted, because, there was already a bunch of dollar bills in there. And if she didn't see me leaving the tip, she would have no idea that I left her something. So I like double clutch, like pulled the tip back. I waited like 10, 15 seconds for her to turn around to be an eye shot. And then I dropped in the tip. And she looked very grateful. Like the look on her face was like, wow, thank you so much, kind sir. And if she had missed out on that, she never would have known I left her a tip. So I think it is important also not only to do the nice gesture, but that people know you do it. Like it's funny every time, like, whenever Bono makes a big charitable donation, like he announces it, like very, it gets headlines, or like Oprah donates to a charity. And I'll always see like really miserable people who just hate everybody say, bro, why does Oprah have to tell you she donated $5 million to like, children with disabilities? Like, why can't she just do it? The good deed. Like why do you have to announce it and get the attention? Are you kidding me? If I had the money that Oprah had and I could leave like $1 million donations, I would have billboards put up on the road that said, very rich, kind man, Alex Donno left a $5 million donation to disabled children. Like I mean, listen, it doesn't make it any less good of a deed. I want everyone to know how nice I am. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Like, honestly. I mean, you're mad at Oprah for donating millions of dollars to kids in wheelchairs. Like, you're mad at her because she wanted you to know about it. No, how about you thank her for making the donation? It's crazy. Alex, Jimmy thinks you're crazy for leaving $5 to the pizza guy. Yeah, he was the one who said he only left $1 for the pizza delivery, and then he looked upset. He said, $5? LOL, he said. Oh, my God. Yeah, Alex is he's a good tipper, man. 844-416-8123 is how you get in. That's 844-416-8123. We'll wrap it up on the other side. It's amazing to me the miscalculation that went into that European Super League idea from a few weeks ago that lasted all of 2 days. So this is a pretty alarming update on that process. We'll get to that and more when we come back. So, hey, every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m., it starts tonight, my friends. Catch Fight Night with me, and I'll be joined in studio by James Walker tonight. It's the show dedicated to combat sports, from the UFC to boxing to bare-knuckle brawling. We provide combat sports fans the insight and interviews they crave. Tune in every Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m. for Fight Night. Search and subscribe to the podcast by searching Fight Night on the home for combat sports, onsideradio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnSideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online check can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, I see a lot of Dolphin fans say this, and it's a tough one. I can see both sides of this. Texter wrote in at 844-416-8123. Yeah, the Dolphins won 10 games, but Chris Greer still screwed up free agency last year. They wasted money on what turned out to be one-year rentals. You get free agents to be here for a few years. I mean, yeah, so many guys are gone. Van Noy. Now, they cut Bobby McCain today. That wasn't a free agent guy from last year. He'd been on the team for many years. Van Noy, Shaq Lawson, Eric Flowers and company. Yeah, there were a lot of free agents that didn't stick from last year. So I understand the perspective that, hey, you didn't sign those players with the intention of cutting them or trading them 1 year later. So you could look at it from that angle and say that they screwed up. I look at it a different way. Those players did help you get to 10 wins and build a culture, right? Because going from 5 wins to 10 wins is massive. And, yeah, those were older players who would not have been part of your foundation for the next several years anyway. So they helped you create a winning culture from 5 to 10 wins in 1 year. So it's not like those players didn't contribute. Like, yeah, I don't think you signed them in the offseason of 2020 thinking, hey, we're signing these guys to multi-year deals, but then we're gonna cut and trade these guys in a year. I'm sure you would have wanted them to stay around longer, but you did accomplish something really important last year. And you've had some diamonds in the rough who really took big steps forward last year, like Zach Sealer and Andrew Van Ginkel, which may not have been expected, and it may have eased the tension in cutting bait with some of these players. And then, of course, in the draft, getting a guy like Javon Holland made it easier to release a guy like Bobby McCain. And again, I know McCain was not part of the class of 2020. He'd been around for a long time, but it's still it furthers that argument, okay? And another thing is, even if you can say signing those players last year was a mistake, you can also say, I can actually respect a front office that's not afraid to move on from players when they can do better. Right? I can actually respect that, because so often GMs and head coaches just decide to eat it with players who may not be the best options for them just because, well, we signed them last year. They got multiple years left on the deal. The Dolphins have actually found creative ways to move on from some of these players without having to eat gigantic cap penalties. So they've actually found ways to move on from these players in manageable ways. And doubling and tripling down on a mistake does not make the mistake go away. So if you're saying, hey, we could do better than these players, but we're going to have to keep them around because they've got 2-3 more years left on their deal, two wrongs don't make a right. So I can also give the front office credit for finding ways to move on from mistakes. That was my TED Talk for the day. Huge thanks to everyone who took part in the show this afternoon. Kyle Krabs was on. He's awesome. Ira Winterman was on. He's great. Thomas Rongen was on. He's awesome as well. All those interviews you can catch on our podcast page. Make sure you're taking advantage of that, bros, because we do a ton of content here every day at OnSideRadio.com. And a lot of you are probably not able to listen solid to every second from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., or in today's case, till 9 p.m., because I got fight night tonight as well. So a lot of you may not be able to listen to, 10 hours of programming every single day. You can go to every podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Podbean, search Onside Radio, get caught up on all of our podcasts. You can search for my show specifically at Man of the Match. I will talk to you guys again in an hour, 7 o'clock, Fight Night. We'll have James Walker in studio with me. We'll get Mike Vasquez on from BYB Extreme. We'll get welterweight champ Brandon Figueroa on. We'll get 9-time UFC veteran Dean Thomas on. We're going to have a heck of a show tonight right here on the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Floridians must